Hello, folks. My name is Tolinar, and this is a revolution. Nobody cares about my channel right now. I understand this. I'm really nobody. This is a game called Of Mice and Sand. This is my vehicle to the revolution. This is the best game that I'm not going to play, at least not for a long time. Let's get started. Ooh, okay. Here we are. O children of mice, hear me, brothers and sisters. The great calamity that is the desert dweller reared its ugly head to reduce our home, our desert ship, to desert scrap. We gathered up all the pieces needed to rebuild the ship, but we are far too old to explore the desert once more. Youngsters, the day has finally come for all of you to take up the search for El Dorado. The desert ship is far too cramped for our entire clan to live out our lives in. Seeking out the treasures in the desert is our mouse clan's calling. Now go. Go forth upon our ship and live a rugged life out in the desert. What's that? The ship doesn't have an engine and won't budge. You're going to need an engine to move your ship and a bridge so you can choose a destination. So let's get some parts together. This is a start. There's nothing here but scraps and junk. Well, let's keep looking. While you're looking for an engine, let's build a cargo room. All I need are bolts and sheet iron. So, the square button navigates the menu. There's no marking saying use square, but it is square. Next, press the build button. And then X. Let's see here. So here we have the list, okay? We're going to build a cargo room right here. This is fine. We can speed things up by pushing R2 a couple times. That makes the clock run a lot faster. Just fine by me. Let's hurry up. If you have a cargo room, the mice will organize the scattered items automatically, as long as there's room in said cargo. But it does look like there are a few scattered items up on second floor. We need a ladder to get up there. So let's go ahead and make a ladder. Okay, ladder goes here. Ladder complete. Now the mice can travel from floor to floor, which means you can retrieve those items on 2F. Okay, rummaging. Whoa, there's some furniture in all this. Here's some beds. Alright, so we got some beds. We can make sleeping quarters. Those are handy. Since you just built a ladder, let's build it on the second floor. This is a really interesting and simple game where you use the resources from scavenging the desert to upgrade your ship, travel around, and survive. We are not really going to play this game. Anyways, let's keep going. Once a mouse decides on a sleeping quarters, they'll stick with that one. The more you build, the number of mice aboard the ship will just keep growing. By building new rooms on the ship, you could do all sorts of things, like increasing the ship's speed, crafting more items, and lots of stuff. Aha! Found an engine. We need that. Okay, now that we have an engine, we can go ahead and build an engine room. Here we go. As you know, I am an Overlord. And the Overlord specializes in two things, systems of economy and systems of ecology. The engine room will make the ship move. It's a good thing to do. Now all we need is a bridge. So let's put out a bridge. Okay, here's our bridge. We'll drop that right here. A system of economy is the flow of resources back and forth. A system of ecology is the various entities inside the game that interact with each other and how you interact with them. Alright, so it's time to get going. Come down here, select the engine room and switch the engine on. And then go to the selection panel. We're going to the first possible location, the Winter Supply Depot. It's 12,000 away. It'll take 200 seconds and 60 fuel to get there. Let's go. Full speed. Why do you slow it down? There we go. The watch. Please keep track of time. If you need to sell it, it should be worth about 10,000. It's actually only worth about 1. It's alright. Gather all the treasures scattered throughout the desert. Use what money you make to survive. The legendary land of gold to the east, El Dorado. We spent our whole lives looking for it, but maybe you'll finally be able to find it. Since the time of our ancestors, mice have braved the eastward journey over and over. The countless failures have shattered our dreams. I know that feeling. There's one thing you must keep in mind: tarry not in the desert. The desert dwellers will catch a whiff of your scent if you stop moving. Keep moving. At least in the desert. Don't run out of gas. Stay fueled up. Good life lessons. Fuel is on the top gauge at the top left of the screen. Great. Come on home anytime. See you later, whoosh. We can zoom in and out. We can close our ship and open it. Oh, it's the fragments from the previous ship. Maybe there's something good in here. Looks like some scrap. Lots of items like scraps and ores are scattered across the desert. You can gather them and sell them to make money. No money means no food, no fuel, and that means dying stranded in the desert. The money to be gained from scrap is just a tiny amount, but there are ways to make some real money. For now, let's just get some scrap going. Alright. There's some scrap. Scrap's funny. It's not worth much on its own, but there are good parts mixed into it. Let's construct a workbench. So we'll go to build, add task, and create a workbench here. Now, let's assign some tasks to this workbench. I want to make a sheet iron, a bolt, and an iron pipe. Get to work. As the ship drives ever onwards through the desert, we pick up various junk. In the upper right, you can see the gauge of how far we've gone to the next destination, as well as the current time, the number of mice aboard the ship, and how much money we have. In the upper left, you can see the HP of the ship, as well as the fuel. HP hits 0, you're done. Fuel runs out, things are about to get bad. And here you can see my mice working along. Ah, we're just about there. The winter storage depot. We can buy and sell things here. Once you arrive at an outpost, you can press square to access the outpost list. This will let you buy and sell items, do quests, hear rumors, and all sorts of things. Okay, someone on the outpost is talking to us. Okay. It's pretty simple stuff. ABQ, huh? Always be quested. Alright, so if we check out our quests, you'll see there are quite a few we can pick from, as well as some rumors. We'll do quests first. We just finished making some items, so hopefully we can sell a few of them. This iron plate, we can get 120 for it, as well as some cheese, which is great. We'll deliver that right away. We need to get this iron pipe as well, but it's not done yet. And we don't want to turn this one in. I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, let's check out fuel to get through this menu. We're not actually going to buy any fuel. Okay, we can also check out the market. Here we can see various things on sale. It would be good to get some spark plugs. Check this out. Here we can see that our golden pocket watch actually sells for 1,000. You can trade it for a spark plug, but I'm not doing that. Now there's rumors. Let's go ahead and pick up all these rumors. Fuel increases as you go deeper in the desert. How to use button shortcuts. I'm done for means a mouse is not going to make it. You're ready to move, select bridge, and then go to the next location. Alright. Now we'll make our way back to the previous area. Go! Full speed! We have to finish making the items that we had for this quest. Then after that... More scrap. How much have we got? We need a little more. By coasting back and forth on the same route, you gradually gather scrap, which is cool. In fact, our entire game plan relies on it. So we have a bit of a ways to drive here. I will need my cell phone in a minute here. Here it is. The fuel tank on your initial ship holds 400 liters. Driving back and forth takes 60 each way, so 120. I can take this trip 3 round trips. But you'll see I actually get to make a 4th trip, because when I turn in the Bolt quest, I'm awarded 100 fuel. Now, I didn't want to turn it in before because my fuel tank would have overfilled and all that extra fuel would have gone to waste. We do not want that. Alright, we're there. Set off immediately for the other direction. How's our supply now? We have enough lo-fi scrap to construct a 2nd workbench, and we want to do this, actually. That way, when we're idling, both can work, but more importantly, so I can upgrade this one. To upgrade the dismantler, I need 2 sheet irons, 2 bolts, and 2 iron pipes. I don't have enough of these things. So what I'm going to do is assign repeat tasks for a sheet iron, a bolt, and an iron pipe. And now we're going to have all this stuff made automatically. Surfing back to the ride. Picking up scraps. The loop system is smart. Whenever an element that is repeated is finished, it moves to the next element on the list. Elements that are not set to repeat are removed from the list. Once the list is completed, it starts over. So if you assign 3 items on repeat, it'll go through all 3 items until it hits one it can't make. And then it will stop entirely until you resolve that error. Understanding the loop system is important. Let's check our quests. Now we can turn in fuel pump repair and get our money and cheese. We can also turn in Brave in the Bolt to get a quick fuel boost. Alright. And back the other way we go. We're going to sift back and forth like this. Gradually collecting up junk, turning it into valuable materials, and amassing money. Here's the big trick. Every 3 days, the quests reappear. And since you gather enough fuel from completing the Bolt quest and more than enough parts, you can wait. And I'd say it's about a 9-minute wait to charge up gas. After 27 minutes, you'll have enough fuel to go and do a few more laps, 2 or 3 more in the desert. 3 or 4, depending on how full the fuel is and when you get your fuel reward from the Bolt quest. You lap back and forth, and then it's a good 27 minutes until the next one. You just have to remember to catch the quests every 9 minutes. Now what you're supposed to do is travel to the 3rd station. When you do that, you encounter a couple of mouses who are passed out. And this switches on hunger, and it switches on exhaustion. But I'm not ready for that. To be honest, I'm not ready for a lot of things. My channel is disorganized. There's a lot of things to do. And my own house is a mess. The kitchen is a mess. This room is a mess. Everything is a mess. There's so much work to do. Heartbreak is a monster. It leaves everything a wreck. What I need to do is some serious personal investment. So, here we have of mice and sand. And as the mice very quietly drive back and forth through the desert, collecting up resources and making the most of their situation, I'm going to be doing the same with mine. This will probably run for however many times in a given day. 1 hour blocks. The video will just be me playing Of Mice and Sand. You'll watch as my junk collection gradually gets larger and larger and larger. You'll also get to watch as my money fills up. Because doing quests will give me money that I won't spend on anything. As you can see, there's no quests yet, so we have to go back the other way. We still have enough money for one more round trip. And by now we probably have enough parts to assign the next major fluid part of this, which is to add a dismantler to this particular setup. The dismantler allows me to disassemble hi-fi scrap as well. This one will be set up specifically to do lo-fi scrap. So we're going to come in here, select the tasks, and cancel them. So the dismantler will get to work. He'll clean up first, I guess. That's good. Cleaning up is good. All better. He'll grab the parts he needs, haul them over to the work site, and get to work. Here, I'm going to set up irons, bolts, and pipes on repaint. That'll turn these products out pretty efficiently. Down here, we're going to process the other ones. Bricks, wires, piano wires, mainsprings, and rubber hoses. This is a lot of junk. We are going to need a new cargo room, but for that we need a little more sheet iron. We'll get there though. We always get there. Why would I do something like this? Why do something so boring and repetitive? My life needs something boring, calm, and repetitive, just to keep my attention a little bit. So, when the sun rises on this day, I think it's this day, there will be new quests. It might be the next day, but I think it's this one. I have a timer here that should be pretty effective on letting me know when the mice need more attention, when it's time to transition. Storage space will fill up gradually with items as I transform all these workable pieces into various this and that's. And while this is going on, I might as well do some cleaning up, some organizing. Take all the different things that are laying around and start putting them in sequence. Put them back in order. There's a lot to put in order. Let's get started. Yep, they're back. So let me start my timer. I may need to adjust it a little bit. Since we've lost about a day, we'll cut a minute off. And we have enough fuel for one more round trip. Sure, why not? Let's get going back the other way. More stuff is always good stuff. I'll be spending quite a bit of time away from the mic, but I'll leave it on. flip us around and go back the other way. In a minute. They're working. I hope that's a sheet iron. I need one pretty badly. The junk is starting to sprawl all over. There won't be room to pick up more stuff. It wasn't a sheet iron. Oh, we can't carry that. Too cluttered. Almost there. There's our sheet iron we needed. Alright. Let's put up a new cargo room. Guys, come on. Finish the cargo room. Don't make me halt your production. Go finish the cargo room. Okay, there. Now you can put all this stuff away. The ship's out of fuel. We still have plenty of scrap though. Well, almost no hi-fi, but 38 pieces of lo-fi. They're just going to keep making items for me. If we check right now, the quest list is probably empty. Alright, there's my notice. So it should be this morning that the quest will repopulate. So I'll very quickly pump out the quest rewards, and then go back to work. That puts a little fuel in the tank, and we wait. And then right around 8 minutes to next third day will dawn, and we'll get some more stuff. I guess when you're an overlord, you have a whole lot of unusual problems. There's a great many things that need correcting here. I have lots of video games that I could play that I don't play. That would be the timer letting me know that I need to check my mice. Right on schedule. I have a big collection of video games that I have actually recorded for, that I just haven't uploaded the streams. The streams are just sitting around waiting. It needs coding. We're getting there. One small mousy step through the desert. We're getting there. Alright, we're all fueled up again. Let's take a quick drive. Gonna be able to fit in a few loops. Set out. When I think about the kind of content that I want to create, I think I want to produce more H-game content. I think that ecchi games don't get the attention they deserve, and I think fan service has a really bad rap. There's not a whole lot of streams of this content because people are afraid of it. There's not a whole lot of productions that feature it because, well, some people are simply ashamed to say, this turns me on, I like playing it, this is entertaining to me. And then there's not a whole lot of people who are willing to admit that they enjoy fan service games. I think fan service as a genre has been very poorly examined. We have ultra-violent fantasy fulfillment games that turn people who have no real achievements into geniuses and heroes. You get the opportunity to be greedy and take whatever you want and pursue imbalanced and unhealthy romances. And this is all fine. But where our issue is nudity. A little bit of nudity is completely wrong. And I take issue with that. I really do. I think in order for the fan service genre to be taken seriously, we have to very carefully look at what fan service... Can you, one of you, drive the... Thank you. We have to take a closer look at what fan service is. I've always defined a fan service game as any sort of game that allows you to engage in social situations that are impossible or improbable in real life. Social situations is important. So Goat Simulator is not really a fan service game because it's not a social situation. You're moving around a stupid goat that's stupid. However, Hatoful Boyfriend, where you go on dates with pigeons and engage in complex conversations with tanks, these are in fact fan service games because the situations are impossible in real life. Virtually all visual novels are fan service games, and there are games like Senran Kagura that have strong fan service elements to them. A game that has nudity, like The Witcher, has some fan service elements, but again, it's getting to engage in social situations that are impossible in real life. Not just nudity, because then there's no difference between fan service and porn. It is the social aspect, getting to interact with someone, see their personality, view how they react to your behavior, and behave in ways that are usually socially unacceptable or socially outlying. Things that are bizarre or unusual behavior. Being sexually selfish is part of it, but not the whole of it. There are a lot of social situations that you can't engage in normally, from harem dynamics where you've got a whole lot of ladies vying for your attention or a whole lot of guys vying for your attention, to school settings of a mystical nature that are also equally impossible, and getting to enjoy the interactions between outlandish superheroes and people. There are superhero games that let you engage the heroes that you're so familiar with in situations that you otherwise wouldn't get to see, and that qualifies as fan service, because what you're seeing here is your favorite characters acting out situations that would otherwise be impossible thanks to the canon or thanks to whatever. These all qualify as fan service. A good example of fan service and non-fan service would be Summer Lesson, which is a game rolled out by Bandai Namco. This is a fan service game because it lets you engage in a social situation that is impossible in real life, for the most part. Being the lone tutor to a high school student and spending time in her bedroom teaching her the basics of subjects and trying to help her get good grades. This lets you fully explore that dynamic. You can be a terrible person, and the game will let you know what a terrible person you're being. Your student will react visibly and emotionally to the way you're acting. Your employer will let you know that they're very unhappy with your decision making. Or you can do a fantastic job You can choose to engage in the situation in whatever fashion you choose and experience what it's like from every angle. You can be a great tutor. You can devote yourself to being the best tutor. You can be a terrible tutor. You can spend your time looking around her room, being a total jerk. Whatever you want to do is fine. This is a good example of fan service taken in a direction other than just nudity. Then there's SNK Heroine's Tag Team Frenzy, and this is not a fan service game. This is not a fan service game. Yes, there's girls that wear kitschy costumes, and all the fighters are girls, and they all have kitschy costumes, and many of them are skimpy, and you get to dress them up in silly accessories, but in the end, it's a fighting game. You go and you do the fighting game, and there's a paper cutout story, something throwaway for all the different characters. It's nothing significant. There is no social interaction between the characters, so it's not fan service. It has nothing to do with the level of nudity, the level of titillation. It has everything to do with the fact that there's no social interaction, so that's not fan service. And this is one of the reasons why I criticize Sony's recent decisions so well, and I applaud the decisions of Steam and Nintendo recently. They have been more accepting of the fact that people want to be able to imagine these things. They want to be able to have these fantasies. And we are in the dark age of the internet now, so nudity is not going away. It takes 10 seconds to find a picture of a naked woman on the internet. It's just the way life is now. So we have to accept the fact that people want to fantasize about these things, and you can either give them a controlled environment to do it in, or just let them figure it out on their own. And if people want to be entertained by this, then finding the appropriate ways to be entertained by it, whatever that medium happens to be for the age demographic, is something that we should think about. The Dead or Alive series, in my opinion, was miles ahead of all the other things in this respect. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball is a game series that has iterated many times, and despite all the loops that it's gone through, all these iterations, there's never been direct nudity in it. There's no nipples. It never goes that far. It will take you all the way to the edge of that, but it won't go that far. And the reason isn't because it doesn't want you to see. It's because it wants you to understand that there's more to it than that. That there's more to the characters than that. He's showing respect for the girls under his care by doing this. And they're not real people. It doesn't matter. Because he's willing to put in that level of focus, that level of devotion. It shows. If we look at something where Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, okay? This was a fan service game. Mainly because it let you engage in social situations that are impossible in real life. Yes, we all know the ninja story, that's great. And there's a lot of social interaction there that you get to be a part of, and that's cool. But then there's the dressing room. And in the dressing room, you can interact with a girl directly, and whatever you want to do is fine. If you want to rub her head and be nice to her, then you can rub her head and be nice to her and be a real sweetheart. You can even smooch with her if that's what you feel you need to do. If you look at Peach Beach Splash, you can squirt her with a water gun, do all sorts of crazy things to her. You can be as socially inappropriate as you feel you want to be. You can tear off her clothes, you can flip her skirt, and the game will react emotionally to what you're doing, because that's the concept of these sorts of things. As Sony said that the game would be better off without that level of social interaction, and they took the game out. Everybody knew that Senran Kagura is a fan service game, but nobody stopped to think about what fan service really meant. Nobody stopped to realize that without the ability to socially interact with the girls, the game is half a game. And this is why Burst Renewal, which has the sickest, tightest, finest combat system of all of the Senran Kagura games to date, Burst Renewal is a damn good game, especially when it comes to the fighting. Senran Kagura has always had really nice fighting, but Burst Renewal really great. It didn't sell well. It didn't do as well as Peach Beach Splash. The game made a return to form, and it's not because there's less nudity, because there isn't. All you have to do is go into diorama mode, or go to the dressing room and change their clothes. You can take off all their clothes, put them in any costume you want, that's fine. The level of nudity has not been reduced. So Sony didn't achieve anything with their choices. What they did was take away the social interaction elements, and they killed the fan service in Senran and Kagura. And this is why they left Sony's care, and to be honest, I agree. quick check to see if we've got the clock set correctly here. Nope, one day out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video stream here. Come on, let's get going here. So we managed to get 2,000.